Hey everyone, I wanted to make a video just talking about the atrocious state of DLC and microtransactions, mainly in the price of them. In the fighting game genre as a whole, of course, I mainly focus on Mortal Kombat because that's the only one I really care about. I haven't played any other fighting game. I don't want to. I played Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is a okay game. It's very overrated, but that was alright. There are a few notes about some things I'll cover. Um, but yeah, let's get into it. I'll start with talking about Mortal Kombat. I do have other examples to give because I have noticed, as a casual, this is just a thing with fighting games where they have ridiculously priced DLC that ends up costing more than the game itself. This is just like the common thing in all of them. All of them that I've seen, that is. I don't think Tekken is this issue. Tekken seems like a pretty chill franchise. I think that one's in a good state. They have big movesets, they have big rosters. Like, just a lot of quality and quantity there. Whereas other franchises are getting worse at this. And it's weird. So yeah. Well, I'll start with talking about the combat packs. And combat packs as a DLC concept isn't even bad. And I don't even think the combat packs were an issue until Mortal Kombat 12. I'll go through it real quick. So MKX introduced combat packs. The first MK DLC was MK9. It was going to be MK versus DC, but that never happened. MK9 just sold characters separately, £5 each, and each character's always been valued at £5 until MK12. I think £5 is a very fine price, considering how much goes into fighting game characters and whatnot. I think a fiver is reasonable, especially in later games, the ones with variations, where you get a lot there. Like MK8, you get like 3 variations that are drastically different. MK11, you get your custom variation stuff, and you get a lot of customization. MK11 is the only one that really has customization for their DLC. MK12 isn't going to have it. I think Quan Chi and Ermac will, but that's because they're a meant to be base game. And I think that might be it. I don't know though. Maybe it's just a guest character thing. In any case, MKX would have DLC bundles. And it was £20 each, and then I think they did a bundle at the end that basically gave you the other one for free. So you got 4 characters, although you get a 5th one. You get Goro with any combat pack purchase if you don't already own him, which I think is good. I think that is a more reasonable pre-order bonus system. I do not know why in their more recent games, their pre-order bonus has to be bought separately if you didn't pre-order the game. I know Shao Kahn was the case here. Like unless you got the Ultimate Edition, like the physical copy, or just actually pre-ordered it, you don't get Shao Kahn on your copy, which is strange. Even if you buy the Ultimate add-on for 11, you don't get Shao. So pre-order bonuses on their own, a bit sketchy, especially when you get down to Shang Tsung. Okay, it's not really a problem because Goro's not in the story, and they were reasonable as you'd get Goro with a combat pack purchase. So if you're planning on buying DLC, you get him anyway, right? Like he's still a bonus unlock for getting pre-order, getting DLC. You get Goro, and I think that's a much better system than, oh, you didn't pre-order, you have to buy him separately now. There's no other way. You have to go out of your way to buy him separately, which is quite insane. For just pre-order bonuses in general, because normally they're quite lenient about it. Most companies with pre-order bonuses. I know a lot of companies that say they have a pre-order bonus, and then they just put that code in like all their copies, and you just get it anyway. You did not pre-order. But MK's become a lot stricter with it, which is odd. But yeah, MKX not really a problem yet. It's pretty fine. Of course, it's mainly due to the small amount. But yeah. MK11. At the beginning, this was right. So you have Compact 1. Probably the best DLC MK's ever done. It was just the most bang for your buck. It was very good quality. 6 characters, you had a 2-character increase. As a result, the price went up from 20 to 30 quid. It was, in actuality, it was like £32 and whatever pence. Bit of inflation there, but not enough to really matter. Because they had bonuses and extra skin packs too. I can't remember how many, but this game gave you a ton. It gave you a ton of skin packs, and still the value was £5 per character, and each DLC card had 90 gear pieces and 40 costumes, which would be 4 skins with 10 pallets for each one, and you unlock most in character towers. So that's quite a lot to get there. It was a grind to get them still, but there's a lot of content to get. Shang Tsung even has an extra skin. He has an extra skin you unlock from the compact, and there's like another 6 premium skins or whatever for compact owners that you can't get anything else. And on top of that, you have 6 skin packs, which are 3 skins each, and 9 gear pieces per pack. And then you had normally it'd be 6 pallets. I think the classic Ninja pack only had 4. But yeah, you got a lot there. And each skin pack also valued at £5, which I also think is fair, considering what you got in that game and the customization that game offered. I think that's quite valid. They were a bit weird with a couple of packs where they're not tied to a comic pack. They had a second Halloween skin pack that just was sold separately. And then they had their last DLC was a 95 movie skin pack, also separately. I ended up getting them actually. Because I don't think that's a bad price for them. It's just not something many people are going to go out their way to get. So yeah, I find it odd that those packs weren't bundled. That's just strange. But yeah, you got a lot. You got essentially, I don't know how many skins, but you had a lot. And extra skins with 6 premium skins, which also came with 3 gear pieces per skin. And yeah, each being valued at £5, you got 6. You essentially got almost half off. And I think that's a very good deal. MK12, their pricing, because the pricing has gone up, you kind of get... Actually, no, I don't know. I don't know the specific mass, but it seems like you might be getting a better deal, but it's just because they increased the prices of everything. Whereas in this game, DLC separately is at a reasonable price. So it does feel you're actually getting a discount here, and not they just made everything sold separately so expensive that this is the only one that is of a reasonable price. So basically, you want the game, you want all the characters. Just get this, and it's an extra £2 as opposed to getting them separately. It's an extra £2. £2 just to get 6 skin packs, 6 premium skins. Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. The problem comes for this game a bit later. Aftermath happened. This was £35, so a bit more expensive than Comic Pack 1, for literally half the content. I'm not joking. You got 3 skin packs. You got 3 characters, so you had 6 of each of those before, so half of that. Then you have 3 bonus skins from playing the story expansion. So you literally got half the content for £3 more. The pricing did not make sense. And it was not worth it because, if you're looking at actual gameplay stuff, it'd be £15 for the characters. And I don't think many people want Robocops, so probably £10 in terms of actual value. Because Shiva and Fujin were definitely the standouts. People wanted them. And skin packs are pretty bad because you had another Halloween pack. You had a summer theme one. That one was actually fun. And they had a classic skin pack, which was the Yuan Capri skins, which is very conflicting on whether people care about them or not. I personally don't, but yeah, at least that was like a classic skin pack thing. It wasn't some weird dress up pack, Halloween dress up pack, a fourth one. Um, but yeah, just in general, you were getting half the content, regardless of what you thought of the quality. You were getting half the content, but they charged extra because they had a cinematic story mode, which, of course, that takes a ton of effort. It was like 5 chapters, each had 5 fights, and you got to animate the cutscenes and stuff. That takes a ton of effort. Of course it does. Voice acting and shit. So much goes into that. But you can't put a price on that. Because, and this is the main issue with story modes, other than the quality of the story themselves, the writing is bad, but the problem with story modes in MK with this chapter system, it offers no unique gameplay. Like there is genuinely no reason to want to pay for a story. I actually want to watch it like a movie, but just use YouTube for that, right? Like this is free. These cutscenes you have free access to, so you can't charge for that. You got like a few time crystals. You got 1,000 whatever, so enough a skin bundle, and that's about it. And then they had pre-order bonuses for that DLC, which had very popular skins like Deception, Sub-Zero, and MK9 Scorpion, and a more human-like Frost, and yeah, they made them pre-order bonuses, and then they put them in the shop, and they're not in the shop anymore. It's bad. So I didn't mention about time crystals yet. This was the start of MK having microtransactions. In a sense, they had their own little premium currency. And time crystals weren't actually that bad. I know there was a lot of people saying it was really egregious at the time. But it honestly wasn't. It honestly wasn't in a sense that people broke it down. It was a certain amount of money to buy from the crystals, but the people who were doing those calculations just knew nothing about the game, because nothing in the store at that time was a time crystal exclusive. What the store was, it was essentially just a way of, here's some extra currency. If you're struggling to unlock something, just get it in the store if it shows up. That's what it was initially. And then you had a way of getting an infinite amount, because, there's a duplication glitch, but even about that, you're getting 50 per day if you play Combat League. So you're constantly getting these crystals, and there's still just no way to get some stuff if you're missing it or whatever. Then it got a bit weird, because they started having time crystal store exclusives with the MK2 skins, the women's skins, the MK2 women's skins. They were store exclusives. Then they put stuff like Coral Scarlet and whatever the Pirate King or what was. They put them in the store, and that was kind of a way to get them. And then they had the pre-order bonus DLC stuff, and that was there. So they had a lot of stuff that was just kind of only obtainable in-game in this store. And that was a problem, especially now, where a lot of stuff you can't get because it's not in the yearly rotation, that they don't change. They're missing stuff there. Like the Eternal Clash skins. It's a problem. It is a big problem for a system that wouldn't be that bad. The limited time stuff is annoying. The fact that it rotates stuff is annoying. But you don't have to spend a penny on the microtransactions to get all the content. You do not. So I don't think it was that bad. It's certainly not ideal. I think everyone would prefer to have their paid game go about a system like this. But it was relatively harmless, I'd say. I think it just more so spoke to the grind of the game as a whole, the grindy nature, rather than it being trying to get more money out of you. It didn't really feel like that, because the stores blue. They were so shit. You just got the same repetitive skin palettes and stuff. They had not a lot of stuff worth getting. No one's going to go out their way to pay money for some of the stuff in that store, especially when most shit you just unlock. So it felt more like an option. It still feels going to have that option in the first place, but for the average player, it's not going to be a problem. I think the same can be said for the fact that they have a way of buying Frost, who is a story mode unlock, and a very early one as well. This one you don't have to beat the story for. You need to beat her in like chapter 4, so you don't need to complete chapter 4 to unlock her. Which again doesn't really matter for most players because they're not going to buy it, but they know they're going to get some idiots or just some people who can't be else to wait. They just want to play as Frost because Frost was their big return of that game, their only return really. And they're going to get some extra money. Like just giving the option to pay for it quickly, you get a lot of money from that. From just a few people. Like it's going to be a very small percentage who would actually buy it. But people will. So you get that money. You just get extra money. So it just seems scummy to have that. Although, but at the end of the day, none of this stuff really impacts the game itself. If you're going in, you're not going to really feel like you need to buy any of this stuff. The fact that it's there is a bad look, but it doesn't harm the quality of the game. And then they did Combat Pack 2, which had no bonus skin packs. It was just £15 for free characters. Felt very incomplete, but the pricing now is fine. It was more of an issue of the fact that there was so much DLC that you're looking at, let's see, like £65 over that. It'd be £75 if you bought the separate skin packs, and an extra £15. You're looking at £90, £95 onwards if you didn't get Shao Kahn. So you're paying for essentially the amount you spent on the game. You could buy another copy, and you're close to buying a third. And it's just ridiculous. It is quite ridiculous. And it's not even from the pricing. Combat Pack 1 and Combat Pack 2, nothing wrong with the pricing of them in this game. Nothing at all. Combat Pack 2, you get no bonuses, but you're not getting anything that's overpriced. Aftermath just shouldn't have been that expensive. £20 maybe. £20. And even then, it's going to feel like, why the extra £5? Because at the end of the day, it is half the content of Combat Pack 1. It should be half the price. So, yeah, it really was just Aftermath that kind of weighed it down. And the unfortunate part was Aftermath was a good update for the game. It added friendships, added a bunch of stages all for free. But the paid side of it was not good. Not at all. And I think anyone who bought it probably feels robbed. Especially when, just a few months later, you got, an Ultimate Edition bundle thing. And that's another thing. These DLC bundles I have everything. They are very good deals. I think Ultimate, when it's not on a sale, it's like £40 for the free DLC packs in this game. So essentially, you're paying for, the amount of Aftermath, and it's £5 for the 2 combat packs. You want to look at it like that. You get almost 2 packs for completely free. And that's quite insane. The problem is, it punishes the loyal customers who were buying this stuff at day one. I think that's probably people. I know that feeling because I was done with you pre-order MK11, which I think you get if you get the game, that's fine. It's when you buy a bunch of DLC and then you realise, they have a crazy sale at the end of it, and you could have just waited a couple years for that. That's another problem with the DLC, for sure. It feels very unfair to the people who are already buying the DLC. But it also makes sense to have that bundle because, again, if you don't have that bundle, people are going to be getting the game and then they're going to realise, hey, I just bought this game on sale and I got it for £10, but why is it over £100 worth of DLC? People will realise then, if you don't have those DLC bundles. So it's a real toss-up. And I'd say just maybe have a season pass that actually covers all the DLC. Don't just have it for one pack and then do more. If you have a clear roadmap of what you're getting, that would be less of an issue because then you have people buying what they know they're getting, and then you only have one DLC pack. So people who get the game later on, they know they're getting this bundle, and then you can put the bundle itself on sales. I think that's fine. Rather than having to bundle a bunch of separate packs together. I don't know though. It might just be me, but I feel you should have like this sort of ultimate bundle thing available from the start. But I get they don't actually know what they're doing in long term, so that'd be a problem. If WB sorted out their shit and let their employees know what they're actually doing, that would probably help and make that possible. But yeah, no, not happening anytime soon. And then we move to the current game, Mortal Kombat 12, which has a combat pack. I don't think this one doesn't seem bad. It probably has my hair lineup, at least of MK characters. I think 11 has better guess. I don't really care about guess regardless, but Swan's cool, Joker's a lot more recognisable than Peacemaker. I like Comedy Man. I don't care about him in this sort of game. He doesn't fit, but yeah. I think the characters themselves are pretty cool. The problem is the context, you know. I know, like, how you feel about the characters doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter about the price. It's just an opinion on how you feel about these characters. But at the end of the day, they're all, like, unique movesets, unique designs and stuff. They all have value. This is a problem, though. Quan Chi and Mac. Because with context in mind, you realise that they should not be DLC. This game has a base roster of 22. And the base roster from MKX onwards was 24. And then you had like a 25th character, that being the pre-order bonus. And I think that's a solid amount for a base roster. I think it's a shame that they can't just increase the size and now we're decreasing it. Like, this should be something that gets better with each game, you'd think. And it was in the midway era, but yeah, it's fell off. This is the same roster size, base roster without DLC. It's the same size as MK vs. DC, which is kind of unacceptable. I think if you have a roster of over 20, then you've got enough content there for an MK game. But it's just the principle of you're getting less than what other games offered. For a game, Danny, I remind you, the movesets in this game have less going on than MKX and MK11 because they had variations, so they had to make extra sets of moves. This game, not the thing. What I place that is cameos. And this is where the pricing of this gets questionable. Because this DLC does not do skin packs. They do cameos. Their assist fighter system. Which I think people would care about that more than skins because it's a gameplay thing and they're extra characters. You know, I personally care about the cameos more than the base selection. Maybe not here because I like Quan Chi. But just like in general, you get like a lot of crazy names popping in. Like, we're getting Farrah and Movado in the future. We got Chameleon, who's on a roster not as a Nintendo exclusive for the first time ever. Like, that's all crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, these are special move bundles. That's essentially what cameos are. And doesn't really value them, but at the end of the day, you've got to think about the variations in X11. And notice that cameos essentially replace that. The only extra effort with them really is making a separate model. Of course, getting like specifics to do with the mechanic and how you like stock cameos and call them in and stuff. That would take a lot of effort to set up. Compared to just, oh, here's an extra special move I made. But you have that system working. So in terms of making DLC for it, you just gotta make the models and give them the special moves. And I've been putting a lot of effort into the DLC cameos. I don't think the models look that great, but like Chameleon swaps between 3 different things and has like 2 specials for each one. Has 3 throws, which is kind of nuts. I don't know if there's been a character with 3 just forward throws. That's kind of mental. Tremor had like variations. Wait, also 2 moves in each one, which, you know, 2 moves is not a lot, but they're important to the gameplay being an assist. So yeah, they're all cool. The problem is that, yeah, when you think about the base characters, you pair them up and they're basically the new variations. They're a gameplay mechanic. I don't think you should be charging separate for them. At least not £4. They're not worth that. That's £1 less than the full characters from MK9, MKX, MK7, the Injustice games. It's really bad pricing. The full characters themselves got the prices in place to like £6.49. I think is a very specific number. It's $8 now. And I think that's real bad because, again, these movesets have less going on. Regardless of what you think about the gameplay, whether you think it's better or worse, that doesn't matter. Fundamentally, these movesets have less going on and there's less customization to them than the previous game. So you should not be charging extra for them. They are not worth more than previous games. It is just blatant inflation. So straight away, they're overpriced. The card bank itself is £35. The same price as Aftermath, which, let me tell you, this is much more worth than Aftermath. And your kind of only viable option because it's just too expensive to just buy stuff separately. However, yeah, the stuff being sold out separately for that price, that's bad pricing. The pricing of this isn't that bad. Again, if we're going off of like the actual value per carry being like £5, I think, £3 there, and then the assist, like you can throw in an extra fiver, that's not really a problem. And also you get a Johnny Cage skin. It's unclear if you're meant to get 1,200 dragon crystals. With the compact, they've advertised it as such, but people have bought it and they don't get it. And it seems like it's meant to be a premium edition exclusive, not a compact exclusive. It's very unclear. I don't know. Apparently, if you contact WB support, they'll just give you the crystals because they falsely advertised and now they got to give it. I think it was false advertised at least. I don't think compact owners are meant to get it because the description on any store does not mention it, but it will mention the Johnny Cage skin. But yeah, ask Warner Bros. Support for that amount of crystals because you can get an extra skin with that. So that's worth doing. That's what you think about the microtransaction situation. You're gonna want more for free. Yeah, that's a whole other thing we'll get into because that's where things get real bad. The microtransactions. So yeah, like £3 for this, pretty reasonable. The problem is that 2 characters in base game because the roster got smaller, 22 characters instead of 24, and then Quan Chi and Ermac are just in story. They're just in the story mode. Clearly meant to be playable. Quan Chi's actually a main villain. I think they couldn't meet a deadline because this game is clearly rushed out, and so because they couldn't meet a deadline, which I'm not blaming them for. Because there's probably crunch involved, knowing NetherRealm, knowing Warner Bros, knowing the gaming industry as a whole. However, it's one thing to make us wait for these characters in base game. It's another thing to just mislead people into thinking, they're DLC add-ons. When clearly it was supposed to be content we got for free for buying the game. And now the roster, no matter how much DLC that they add, they're going to be playing catch-up. Because they moved 2 characters into DLC slots. So, yeah, I think that's quite unfortunate. Also, I feel like they could have at least done a 6th cameo. 5 is plenty, but have as many assists as the actual characters, man. Why 6 characters, 5 characters? That's awkward. That was an awkward amount to advertise. I don't know why they did that. Regardless, this isn't that terrible. There is worse for this game. But it's pretty fucking criminal to be having to pay £13, $12.99 for Quan Chi and Ermac if you bought them separately. If you just want content that should have been basically. There's also K-Median who's in the story. Which, again, NPCs aren't uncommon for MK, but it's an assist. You couldn't complete that in time for the base roster. That's just dumb. And again, like when you just see the fact that the roster got decreased and there's only 2 NPCs, you can do the math. They clearly playable. Their endings and bios are in files and stuff already. They do meant to be there. Such a shame. It's cool they're not just NPCs, but yeah, they should not have come with an extra cost. They could have just said, oh, yeah, sorry, we couldn't get them out in time. we'll add them in future updates because you've been adding a lot of content that we know's in the game, but you're like drip feeding us it. So it wouldn't be that far-fetched just throwing a couple characters in updates. And I think people would like that more, actually. But yeah, no. They're just masking as DLC to make it look like that they aren't behind on anything. Instead of just communicating with the player base. It's scummy, for sure. Dragon crystals. These are replacement time crystals. They're the new premium currency. And we got a lot of problems. We have a lot of problems. I mentioned earlier that DLC, the contract doesn't give DLC skin packs anymore. That's because all skins that get added to the game that weren't in the files to begin with, like stuff that was in story or whatever, stuff that was already in the game, but they're drip feeding it in seasons. Which that sounds kind of scummy, but that's still free content. There's stuff that they've added post-game, they put in the shop, they make it exclusive. And it's a shame because there's a lot of stuff like 3D arrow skins that people have been waiting a long time for. In general, they look very low quality, a lot of them. They look like mods. They still look good because of the source material was good. But, yeah, they don't feel like they have £8 worth of cost put into them. So I say £1 because it's 12 to get the 1,250 crystal bundle. That package is an eight quid. A skin bundle, the store exclusive ones, those are 1,000. And they have a lot. There's like a little icon on what's a store exclusive, and it's mainly just like, I think there's 9 skins right now, and there's various announcer packs. So to just get a voice pack for your announcer, it costs 1,000 per one. Unfortunately, Shang Tsung's one of them. Shang Tsung's got a really cool voice in this game, but nope, you gotta pay £8 for that. A benefit is, I mean, like I said, the card pack might give you an extra 1,000. It might give you that. I don't know. It should, I think. Or maybe it shouldn't, but they advertise it as such, so yeah, maybe you get an extra 1,000 there. But I think it's like 6,100 specifically for this game in terms of what the game gives you for free from just playing. You can get over 6,000 crystals, so you can get 6 skins, which I guess that's free skin packs with stuff, which is all right. I you know, like, hey, that's kind of cool. Like, get a few skins, but you know, we're only a few months in, and there's already so many microtransaction exclusive stuff that there's already more than 6 skins. And I think each season we're getting one this week. There'll probably be more skins, and it's a shame. It's a massive shame. I don't think people would have much of an issue again if it was like time crystals where you can just get an infinite supply. You know, like over 6,000, that's a good amount, but it ends there. There's no way to get more. I think in general you shouldn't have stuff like this in a paid game, a full price AAA game. These are free to play tactics, and even free to play games gives you a way to constantly get your the premium currency. Fortnite does. You can get 300 V-Bucks per season for free. Overwatch, there's weekly challenges to get the gold coins. So they're being stingier than games that you get for free, but that understandably have a premium currency. Whereas this game has no excuse. And they can't even like make you grind for it. You don't have the option to grind for it. And it's real bad. It's real bad. I don't think it's changing because Warner Bros. Wants to become live service with everything. It's a Warner Bros. Thing. You know, I blame NRS for a lot of stuff, but I think this one is just Warner Bros., which is a shame. I think Warner Bros. Purchasing this franchise has been for the worst, but it is what it is. A lot of people have been complaining. I think people have been vocal enough about it, and it's cool. It's just up to Warner Bros. If they're actually going to tell NRS that, hey, let your players play the game more to get the premium currency, which is still scummy because that's like grind tactics for limited time exclusives. If the store brings stuff back continuously, which at the moment it is, if when it gets to the final release of the game and there's missing content like MK11, that's going to be an issue. But if not, they have everything, and there's like a yearly cycle, however long. As long as there's opportunities within a year, you know, you can set a date in a calendar to get this content. And there's a free way to get it. I think that's fine. That's not ideal. That is not ideal. That absolutely shouldn't be a thing that your full price game should be doing. But if they did that, there'd be a lot less complaints because it's still stuff you're getting for free. There's no additional charge to it, so it doesn't ruin the experience. Especially when customization has gone worse in this game and I think it's acceptable to charge more for it. It's dumb. It's dumb. There's only one gear piece now. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. There's only one gear piece. There's less skin palettes in the game. There's less skins to begin with. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Especially when the thing I was excited most is see how they follow up on cosmetics and customization, and they've really flopped there, and then they've become greedy with it. You know, there's not the quality to justify it. To even slightly justify it. Even if it was quality stuff, it still wouldn't be justified because it's a game you pay for. You bought the game, you should get the content within it. Like, come on, it's dumb. Again, these games that people don't even mind being DLC. You know, like you could argue, oh, these are basically DLC skins, and you get 6,000. You can buy them for free. You can buy 6 for free, right? But no, hell yeah, it would be better than if there were skin packs if they made it so you can get the currency for free, because then you can get like all the added skins for free hypothetically. That'd be better than skin packs in a way. I think it would be less convenient, but it would be, and that's probably why they won't do it, because if they do that, then they'll just have the realization of, oh shit, we should have just done skin packs again. Because imagine that, you have a comp pack, and it has, you know, just your characters, it has your cameos, then it has your skin packs. That'd be a very good bundle. But no, they did not do that. Such a shame. It's a shame. And I don't think this is the worst case at the moment of bad microtransactions and stuff in fighting games. Because let's take a look at Street Fighter 6, which has less characters and less customization. There's no customization really. You can change your palette and you can change like from costume 1 to the alt costume. You can get them for free. But yeah, the third costume for every character. And yeah, just look at the prices here. Nearly $100 in total. And yeah, you gotta buy a lot to get each one. You can't even get any of these for free. And this is real bad. Real bad, especially when there's less here. There's no gear or anything. It's just a third costume. This is worse than anything MK is doing. This is terrible. This is really bad. Don't use this to negate what MK is doing. Negate's probably not the right word for it. Just because something's doing it worse doesn't make the thing that's bad better. Because I know a lot of people might just bring this up and people discuss the problems with MK12. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just because a lot of fighting games are doing this does not mean that it's acceptable for one to do it. No, it is unacceptable for all of them. I think Street Fighter 6 is actually the worst for this. I know Street Fighter 5, most of the roster is paid DLC, like the vast majority, and it's a big roster. Like, it's a very cool roster, but a lot of paid DLC there, to my knowledge. It's only not a game for me. And I thought, oh, the 6th game seems to be doing a lot of good stuff. But the more I've heard about it, the more I realized, oh no, this is probably worse than what Mortal Kombat's doing, which is a shame. If you're a Street Fighter fan, let me know what the fuck's going on with this game, because this is not good. I was just because of Smash Bros, and I'm showing from the eShop here. £53, well, £54 pretty much, to get all the DLC cards. Piranha Plant is sold separately. You can't even get it in a bundle, because it is essentially a pre-order bonus, an early purchase bonus, pretty much, which is basically just a more lenient pre-order bonus. Like, that's bad. That's nearly the price of the game itself. Not as bad as Mortal Kombat, this example isn't. But then they have a Me Suit system where you have to buy Me Suit at 70p each. And there's 52 of them. So times it together, that's £36, 40 pence for all the Me Suits. That's terrible. I know no one's actually going to buy it, but, you know, shouldn't be selling all that. Again, it's just bad. It's just bad. It makes fighters impossible to 100% get all the content. Because they have egregious stuff like this. And it's especially odd with Nintendo, because Nintendo's normally very good with this, and I think it highlights the state of this genre, that even Nintendo's being very greedy with their DLC price. Because Nintendo criticize them for whatever you want, but their DLC prices are usually very good. You get a lot of bang for your buck for DLC, and any DLC, it's normally just half the price of the game itself. You normally don't get into these territories, but you do with Smash Bros. And just in general, like this is a fighting game, a platform fighter, so there's less to the characters themselves. And I think they're more expensive than MK characters were before MK12. So I don't think they're well priced. It's a shame, because Steve from Minecraft, that's funny. I'd want that. But I'm not going to spend over £5 for it. Last thing I want to go over is Skullgirls, which I want to clarify. This one is the least issues. I think when you see it side by side, it's a pro and a curse I can have of how bizarre the price of the fighting game DLC is when you compare it to the price of the game itself. But I think this one has much more of a justification, being made by an indie game team, and the animation is being hand animated. That's going to cost more. That's going to take a lot more effort, and there's extra content to it. I can't remember specifically what, but essentially this is a £20 game on Switch, and I assume it's priced the same on the other platforms. But yeah, it's a £20, which is good price, of course. You get is it a 15 character roster? It's a decent size. It's a decent size for the price. And then it has a season pass, and it's labeled season pass for 1. So hypothetically, there's going to be more. And it only has 4 characters, which that's fine. No, that's fine. But it's £32. You get some extra cool palettes for characters. It's not actual costumes; it's skin color schemes. And then it's you get the characters, and that's just weird. It's like £8 to get each separately, I think, and one of them hasn't even released yet. It's a long way between each one, it seems, which is understandable because again they take a while to make, but it's not £32 worth. I think the effort put into it, especially for an indie team, that is £32 worth. But the actual value, it's poor value. I get why it's at that price though. Again, a lot in general going into fighting game characters. But if you're a big dev team, you can't have that price. This one makes more sense. The pricing on paper is a lot more egregious, so and it put me off getting this game, because if I do get into it and it's £32 for 4 characters, no, I don't want to do that. But I do understand in this case. I think it's a more sympathetic case. This doesn't feel that greedy. It's just, we got a game, and we're continuing to work on it. We got to get a good amount out of it to justify working on it. Because it's not like a franchise that's backed by Warner Bros. Or anything, or Capcom. So I get it in that case. But yeah, still, again, another example of just kind of absurd value to the DLC. Of fighting games. And yeah, that is the thing at the end of the day. These are distinct characters. You have to put a lot into them again, except Smash Bros. There's a lot going on with different combo strings and whatever the mechanics of the game itself are. A lot goes into them. So it makes sense how that, like a £5 or whatever. Of course, the price kind of should vary depending on the game and the depth to them. Like even more common games, I think there's a variety of the actual how worth it DLC cards. Like MK, I think they're very much worth it because you get customization, you get like variation moves and all that. MKX are quite worth it because you get the variation moves, but you get no skins. MK9, you can't buy them anymore. So yeah, I just think ultimately the prices on their own aren't that bad. I think in some cases, again, it depends. Some feels like more Kombat element. It starts off being well priced, but then just do too much. Well, actually, Aftermath is badly priced. That doesn't help, but in general, they be doing a lot that end up costing more than the game itself. That one has a lot more DLC than Super Smash Bros. Though, so it does feel like you get more. But yeah, it's still a ton of DLC when you want to get everything, and it still costs a lot. It's going to cost at least double for most games, and going over it. I think for MK12, I just think about like even if you wait for like the whole DLC package, it's probably going to cost a lot still. It's probably going to cost like a big amount that you wouldn't even buy. You wouldn't even spend that amount all at once in the first place. So I don't know if it's worth waiting for that. But yeah, it's an interesting discussion, I feel. And if I'm going to say, you want the characters, the game's going to feel incomplete when you don't have all the characters, especially in this game like Mortal Kombat that does shit like showing all the DLC characters on the roster to show you which ones you don't own, and you just have a constant locked icon on the roster, constantly telling you that you don't have a complete game, you're missing content, give them money, spend another 30 quid. I think that's very scummy. Because a lot of people want the complete roster, it just makes sense to have all the characters, and especially this genre, like if you don't, and yeah, it feels more incomplete than like a storage expansion DLC, something like that. Whereas this game, like you have a select roster of characters and you're missing stuff, then yeah, it feels rough not to have all that. It does feel like you have an unfinished game, regardless of how much you have on the base game. It's just going to feel that way. That doesn't mean that DLC for fighting shouldn't exist, but I don't know if we take a step back from it. I've seen people defend it in the sense that, it saves from yearly releases. I don't think it does. I don't believe you're doing yearly releases anyway. And honestly, I'd rather they do yearly releases and stuff like this. Genuinely. I genuinely think yearly releases would be better for a franchise like Mortal Kombat. I don't know about other ones, but Mortal Kombat, yeah, I think so. But I don't know. It is an interesting topic. I want to say a year, more than like 2 years ago game. That'd be better than 4 years. It's interesting. I guess there's perspective on what people want there. But in general, I think it's universally agreed. DLC is a lot. It costs a lot, fundamentally. In all modern fighting games at this point. Where if you're not really into the game, you're not going to get DLC, or you're not going to get any DLC. Even though it's going to feel like you don't have a complete game until you do. So that's the problem. Then you have all the fear of missing out stuff, with all the microtransaction stuff. There's just so much. And it's just unnecessary. It is absolutely unnecessary. There's the only better way to do it. I don't know if you just do less DLC. If you have like a whole bundle that promises all the DLC in the future, that's a greater discount from the start. I don't know if you do something like that. Or you just make things cheaper. But at the same time, again, you have that problem of you don't want to make things too cheap because a lot of effort goes into these characters. And of course, with DLC in general, any DLC, you're going to have, typically, the price is going to be more than what the actual content is. But when you compare it to the prices of full games, like open world AAA game, and it has like a £25 DLC or whatever. I'm not even thinking of a specific example. This is just made up. But like, you have like 2 expansion that adds like a part of the map or whatever. And that's like half the price. But it's not like it's not like an extra third of the content, you know. Well, maybe some games will have that amount of content, but yeah, normally DLC, there's going to be more to it because there's going to be more to it in terms of cost. So it's going to have a different value to the game itself. And that's just for the sake of justifying continuing to support the game. That makes sense. But you gotta have a stopping point. Like to get all the content is like over £100 in some of these games. Like that's too much, especially for a full price game. That is free to play tactics. It just doesn't make sense to do it unless you go free to play. But yeah, I think that's about it. I got something I can ramble about, but I think I'll leave it there. I just want to do that. I think it's worth talking about because I think there needs to be change, especially when it's getting worse. I don't think it's going to get better for Situation 5 games. I don't think it is. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.